Hey guys, meteorologist Chris Tomer here with this On the Snow Before You Go forecast. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you get notified when my latest forecasts come out. All right, let me jump into this and kind of set the table here with my bullet points. Here's what I'm expecting over the next 7, 8, 9 days roughly. So it's a two-storm cycle. And it's going to be colder, thank goodness, because it's been exceptionally warm across the west. First storm's 3-2, 3-3, 3-4. And then that cold air comes in with that storm, helps to kind of lay the groundwork and the foundation for the final storm, which might be the better storm of the two, the bigger storm, 3-5, 3-6, and 3-7, with that colder air in place. All right, let me show you how this is going to play out. So this is water vapor satellite imagery across the west. In the low levels, your oranges and reds are going to be your drier air. The moisture is in the whites and the blues. So let me just mark the key features. You've got one big storm right here, another one behind it. Both of these storms are the two key ones in my forecast, and the storm track takes them both into the west coast and then into the interior states. So California will get snow. Idaho will get snow, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado. That's where some of the biggest numbers are going to be, Utah and Colorado, Arizona, and also New Mexico. Lighter snows up in Montana. But late in the period, the flow is going to shift around 3.8, 3.9, 3.10 and really favor this area for BC and parts of Alberta. Those areas are going to get nailed late in the period. So there's a couple interesting dynamics at play here. My snow timeline looks like this. Best odds of snow for Big Sky, the Wasatch, Tetons, Colorado, interior BC, the Pacific Northwest, Tahoe, and the Northeast. A couple of notes here. Montana's kind of out of the flow. You're really on the periphery, so only light accumulations. The Wasatch, you're going to get snow with the first storm, moderate to heavy into 3-3, but the second storm is probably the heavier storm, 3-6, 3-7. Similar for the Tetons, similar for Colorado. Interior BC, very light out ahead of all this. And then late in the period, that's when you're going to get nailed with the rich flow, 3, 8, 9, and 10. Could be heavy. Pacific Northwest, kind of similar. It's that second wave that's probably going to be bigger. In Tahoe, you've got some snow. The second one, 3-5, 3-6, might be a little bit better. In the Northeast, you've got rain coming on 3-5, which is really going to cut down on accumulation. In fact, let's talk about snow accumulation over time. Okay, so let's start this at 5 a.m. on Monday. So on this particular map, the light blues are going to be your lightest accumulations, under 3 inches. The greens, 3 to 6, yellow is 6 plus, red is 10 plus. So here's what we've got on Monday. That's our first storm system across the west. Snow in the Sierra, parts of Oregon, Nevada, starting to snow in parts of the Wasatch, parts of the Tetons. Moving ahead in time, here's late on Monday, March the 3rd, snow developing over Colorado, and it could be moderate to heavy. You can see some of those brighter colors breaking out over the Front Range high peaks, the northern mountains, and there's probably going to be snow down into Denver, especially on the west and south sides of town above 6,000 feet of elevation. But then there's snow kind of on the northern side of the storm. You're again really on that northern periphery in Montana. So this is the storm that will eventually depart. Here we are late on the 4th. Watch it move into the northeast. Moves up into the Great Lakes, but at this point, you're looking at rain chances for Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. It's not showing up as snow because it's too warm. This is late on the 5th. And then behind that, it'll probably turn over to some snow across the northeast into the 6th and 7th. Out west, here's our second storm system. So this is 11 a.m. on Thursday, March 6th. You've got heavy snow through the Sierra, a little colder air in place with this, so I like it. I like it better. Nevada, you got snow in Utah, snow in Wyoming, southern Idaho. Then it starts to develop in Colorado. Here we are late on the 6th. There's early on the 7th. That's a pretty good storm system right there for a lot of the Intermountain West. Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico getting in on the action. There's 11 a.m. There's late on the 7th. That storm moves out into the Midwest, becomes potentially some snow for the Northeast. And there's a little bit of leftover snow, residual snow across parts of Utah, Wyoming, and Colorado, and then it fades. And then this is what I was talking about. This is late on the 8th. Look at the Pacific Northwest and BC. That's where the jet is really going to favor that area for heavy snow potential. Into the 9th, even late on the 9th, it's still snowing hard up there. Okay, let me talk about the numbers. So this is 3-3 through 3-9. In the Wasatch, I've got 1 to 2 feet, potentially more. It could be 2 to 3 feet through Little and Big Cottonwood Canyons. My numbers keep coming up on this, so they're definitely trending up. I've got 10 to 12 for the Tetons over to Hagaden, 3 to 6 for a lot of Montana. There might be a little bit more around Red Lodge. Up in interior BC, I've got the biggest numbers, potentially a foot or more, up there around Kicking Horse and Revelstoke, all the way down to the Marmot Basin, so good overrun, and then less elsewhere. 1 to 3 feet for the Pacific Northwest, and 8 to 10 for a lot of the Sierra. I've got good numbers for southern Utah, New Mexico, and Arizona, potentially a foot or more. Snow Bowl up to Bryan Head, about a foot for Taos. In Colorado, 10 to 20 inches for most zones, south, central, and north. But there could be a couple of spots that push 2 feet. I don't think that's out of the question. Between both storm systems, that's definitely possible. We could be looking at a solid 2 feet in a couple of spots. All right, let me take you up to the northeast, and I don't have much here. The storm on 3-5 with rain really cuts down on the snow accumulation. So looking at potentially 2 to 6 inches here, upstate New York, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. And that's probably going to do it, 3-3 through 3-9. All right, guys, we'll end on the big western map here. Again, a two-storm cycle. Colder air comes in. The second storm is probably bigger than the first. And you can see the target zones for biggest numbers, Utah, Colorado, um, but interior BC and the Pacific Northwest does well very late in the period. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in here to this On the Snow Before You Go forecast. Take care and have a great day.